Hey there! Think of me as that savvy older sibling who's about to slide you the ultimate cheat codes to life. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to completely flip the script on how you view money. If you're a young adult just starting out, maybe getting those first real paychecks and trying to figure out how to build a life of actual financial freedom, you are exactly where you need to be. We're going to dive deep into the psychology of money, breaking down 8 core rules straight from our source material that will literally change your financial trajectory forever. Let's get into it. Seriously, ask yourself right now, are you chasing money or are you chasing freedom? Most of us start out thinking we just want a ton of cash so we can buy the flashy cars, the designer clothes, the illusion of status. But true wealth, the kind that actually lets you breathe easy at night, it's really not about what you own. It's about taking back your time. We really need to shift your mindset away from just buying things to buying back your freedom. Okay, so let's dive into this roadmap. We're looking at 5 key areas today: mastering your money mindset, avoiding the status trap, the art of saving, time and compounding magic, and finally, buying your freedom.
Step 1. Master your money mindset. Look, building wealth has to start with unlearning some pretty toxic financial habits. And honestly, it starts with a massive reality check. Your personal experience with money makes up about, 0.0000001% of what has actually happened in the world. Yet, crazy enough, it dictates like 80% of how you think the world works. You just can't base your major financial decisions solely on your own limited experiences. Like, say your uncle lost a bunch of money in the stock market 20 years ago, or maybe a family friend's real estate business went under. It's so incredibly easy to just adopt this mindset of, investing is a total scam, I'm never doing it. But remember, there are 8 billion people on this planet experiencing entirely different realities.
So the absolutely crucial point here is that we have to expand our horizons. We got to step outside our tiny little bubbles. To do that, you need to actively seek out new information, read the books, go to the seminars, and intentionally learn from both the mistakes and the successes of other people. And hey, when you do look at success stories, you really have to recognize the massive roles of luck and risk. Just because one person succeeded wildly doing something super risky doesn't mean it's a foolproof plan for you. That's survivorship bias in a nutshell. We need to stop making huge life choices based on a single success or a single failure story.
Moving right along to step 2, avoid the status trap.
To dodge this trap, we absolutely have to escape the whole comparison game and that illusion of luxury that catches so many young adults. Our source material highlights a really critical question you need to ask. How much is enough for you? The massive danger here is constantly moving the goalposts. Think about it. You set a goal, you achieve it, but then you look at your friend or some influencer on social media who has just a little bit more. Suddenly, your huge achievement feels, kind of inadequate, so you push for more. Constantly moving those goalposts will absolutely destroy your mental peace. It just pushes you toward greed. Set your expectations, hit them, and then actually allow yourself to enjoy the results. Your life is your own. Comparing it to someone else's highlight reel is totally pointless.
Now, there's a massive difference here that most people completely misunderstand. Getting rich and staying rich are 2 entirely different skill sets. Getting money, that requires taking risks, being bold, making big moves. But keeping that money, actually staying rich, that requires humility. It requires survival skills. Just because you had a big financial win yesterday does not guarantee you'll have one tomorrow. You have to actively fight against lifestyle creep. That thing where your spending just magically increases every single time your income goes up?
Consider what's called the man in the car paradox. It's fascinating. Imagine you see someone driving a sleek, brand new Ferrari down the street. Be honest with yourself. Do you look at the driver and think, wow, that person is so cool and successful? No way. You look at the car and imagine yourself in the driver's seat. We all think people will be super impressed by us if we buy luxury items, but the truth is, they aren't impressed by you. They're just daydreaming about the object. True luxury items are often just liabilities draining your wallet, mostly bought to impress people who aren't even really looking at you.
Okay, step 3, the art of saving. Now, what's really interesting here is how we need to reframe how we view saving money altogether. It's so vital to separate 2 concepts we mix up all the time: frugality and stinginess. Listen, frugality is a superpower. It's the smart, highly intentional desire to simply not waste your money on things that just don't matter. It's about separating your essential needs from those fleeting wants. Stinginess, on the flip side, is just this fearful refusal to spend money at all, even when it would actually be beneficial. You definitely don't need to be stingy, but you absolutely must learn to be frugal if you want to build any real wealth.
So here's a highly practical, actionable step:
right from our source to help you totally conquer impulse spending. It's called the 30-day rule. When you feel that sudden burning urge to buy something you don't strictly need, like, say, a fancy new watch or the absolute newest phone, force yourself to wait exactly 30 days. Just let the emotional high of the impulse wear off. If 30 days pass and you realize, hey, I still genuinely need this and it brings real value to my life, then okay, go ahead and buy it. But honestly, 9 times out of 10, that urge is going to vanish completely, and you'll have kept your hard-earned cash right where it belongs.
Try to think of saving not as a sacrifice, but as building your own personal financial fortress. Your very first goal should be building up a 6-month emergency fund. This right here is your armor against life's unexpected disasters. And here's a totally game-changing rule for young adults. Never, ever use your active income. That's the money you literally trade your time for at your day job to buy luxury toys. Only buy those wants with passive income, meaning the returns generated by your investments. Let your money buy your toys, not your labor. Step 4. Time and compounding magic.
The source material uses this beautiful, really vivid analogy for compounding. It says it's like water flowing over stones. A few tiny drops of water seem totally harmless, right? But a steady, consistent flow over decades, that will literally carve a canyon through solid rock and drastically reshape the entire landscape. Investing is the exact same way. Small, consistent investments made right now in your 20s will carve out an absolute mountain of wealth by the time you hit your 50s.
Check out these numbers. They are seriously gonna blow your mind. Jim Simons is widely considered one of the greatest investors ever, pulling in a staggering 66% annual return. Warren Buffett, meanwhile, averages about a 22% return. Now, looking at that, you'd think Jim Simons is vastly wealthier, right? Well, he's not. Warren Buffett's net worth is astronomically higher. Why? Because Jim Simons didn't really find his investing stride until he was 50. Warren Buffett started when he was 10. To put that into perspective, time in the market will basically always beat the rate of return. Start early, even if it's just with small amounts.
Now, I want you to look at this number. 40%. The source shares this really cool personal example of an investment portfolio that had 14 stocks in it. Out of those 14 stocks, exactly half of them, 7 whole stocks, were actively losing money. Yet, the overall return of the entire portfolio was still a very positive 40%. How on earth is that even possible?
Well, this brilliantly illustrates the law of large numbers. It proves you absolutely do not have to be perfect to win in finance. You can be wrong literally half the time. And as long as you're playing the long game, diversifying your portfolio and letting those winners run, those big wins are going to completely outshine your small failures. Making enough consistent attempts essentially guarantees your success over time. It's just math.
And finally, step 5, buying your freedom. I really want you to let this definition sink in for a second. The highest form of wealth isn't a mega yacht. It's the simple ability to wake up every single morning, look in the mirror, and honestly say, I can do whatever I want today. True wealth is buying back your own life. It's having options.
See, when you build up that financial fortress we talked about, you start collecting what we call the time dividend. Just think about your day-to-day life for a second. Financial independence means you actually have the power to walk away from a toxic workplace. It means if you wake up feeling awful, you can stay home and rest. You don't have to force yourself to commute out of this paralyzing fear of missing rent. It puts you in the driver's seat of your daily schedule. You're slowly but surely disconnecting your earnings from your time, which just completely removes so many everyday stressors.
As the source material so powerfully states, money's greatest dividend is having control over your time. Studies consistently show this too. The happiest people aren't necessarily the ones with the most luxurious stuff. They're the ones who have freedom and control over their own schedules. They aren't chained to a 9-to-5 desk if they don't want to be.
So, I want to leave you with this final, deeply impactful question to chew on. Take a good hard look at the decisions you made this past week. Are you building a lifestyle that traps you in an endless cycle of working just to pay for things you probably don't even need? Or are you taking these rules to heart and building a financial fortress that will eventually set you completely free? Ultimately, the choice is entirely in your hands. Start making your money work for your freedom today. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. I really hope this changes the way you look at your next paycheck. Catch you next time.